Okay, what I want to do is just point out as a sort of a reiteration, if you like. This is just a very simple simulation just to show the delay in conduction that we've been talking about. So L1 is a primary for L2, L2 is a primary for L3. Okay, so all we're really doing with L1 is we're inducing just enough voltage, okay, to carry a current, a small current, and then at that stage, the small current on this side will act as a primary for L3 because we've got the delayed conduction in here. This little circuit here is a very critical aspect in delayed conduction. You can see down here that there is a delay between the waveforms. So the blue line here and the red line here is delayed. So at the zero cross, we have current. If we were to take the vertical axis, so at this stage we have a voltage, which would mean that the coil is carrying a current up until about the mouse pointer there, and then at that stage the second, or at least the tertiary coil, starts conducting. Okay, so at this stage we have a conduction, but the L2 has already carried a current. So what happens is if you can get the right frequency, duty cycle, and voltage for this arrangement, you find magnetic resonance at a certain point. And the magnetic resonance basically means that the L3 and the L2 coils interact together enough to actually push current back on L1 and actually sometimes in some cases make it go negative. So your power that you're using is actually a negative power factor rather than a positive power factor. This is a very simple circuit. You can do this for a few dollars, and if you know what you're doing, you can do it for a few hours work. It's very, very simple, very cheap. You could buy a few little coils from Amazon, throw them on a core that you could probably pull out of an old TV or something along those lines. Very cheap, very easy, very simple. What I recommend is keep your wires short as well if you can. Having great big long wires sometimes causes issues, stray magnetic fields, all that sort of thing. So keep your wires short, and you'll find that once you find the frequency, magnetic resonance, this thing will take off. Okay. The magnetic field interactions between L2 and L3 will be much greater than the magnetic field interactions between L1 and L2. And this is a timed delay, and basically what that means is that L3 will push current back through L1 and obviously oppose L2. So additive, subtractive, primary. Anyway, I want to keep this video short. I have actually done a great big long video, but my microphone wasn't turned on, so we lost all the audio on it. It was a bit of a pain. Please support us. Please give us a little bit of a donation if you can. We put a lot of information, a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, a lot of content up that other forums, other places on the internet just don't have. So a lot of our information is unique. We spend hours and hours and hours going through it, making sure that we have the right information. Obviously, our experiments have cost us a lot of money. And yes, we haven't shown our experiments because at this stage, if anyone were to find the smallest fault, like, for example, a fly on the wall, they would throw out, oh, it's all fake. But it's not fake. Look, honestly. Look at the evidence. Look at the trail of evidence. It's huge. Anyway, bifilar coils, we've gone through this before. Anytime you have two coils together, the two coils together will always carry the same current in the same direction, the same phase, and everything like that, because the tide sturdy on the ends. Okay, these are fixed terminal parallel bifilar wires. I don't like the term bifilar. I try not to use it very often, but I sort of have to in some cases. I try to use partnered output coils or bucking coils because we are actually looking at a different phenomena. These two coils essentially don't have to be bifilar. They can be two completely separate coils on two completely separate cores. And personally, I like it that way. That's my preference. So visit us. Please help support us. We have gone through a very large information dump. Our websites, including highiq.org. This is just a smidge from Paul Raymond Jensen. This is his free energy device. Floyd Sweet studied it. So again, you can see that Paul Raymond Jensen found exactly the same thing as what we are talking about. So Lenz's law was bypassed and free energy resulted. So basically this is because the current gain in the secondary relative to the primary. What he's talking about here, if you go through and read this document, what he's talking about here is exactly what I've just shown you, geometrically opposing fields. So this is on the secondary windings. So the two secondary windings, again, he has timed, his setup has been timed possibly a slightly different way, maybe with a capacitor or something like that, but his two output coils, he was able to get bucking, and because of the bucking, the input virtually went to zero, or at least very, very much reduced. So please come and read this information. Please come and study it. Now we're in a bit of a bind because if people don't come and use this information, learn this information, and build devices, with this information, if people don't do it, we will fail. We really need to make sure that people have the right information, are able to build these machines without too much trouble. You've got to remember these are the cheapest machines that you're going to be able to build to produce energy. Energy comes from the atomic structure inside the copper coils. Floyd Sweet pointed that out in some of his documents, but energy is it's not magical. It's in the air around us. It's in the atomic structure of copper, atomic structure of any conductor. The trick is using magnetic fields in a timed reaction to pump the energy that is already there. The energy that is already there is stationary, at least at our level. So we just need to pump it. All we need to do is pump it. And it's very, very simple. Once you've done it a couple of times, it's very simple. And I've shown you exactly how to do it. This way here is one way to at least start. Again, you only need three things. So the difference in voltage on the primary will affect the voltage on the secondaries. Once you get to a certain voltage, the Zener diode conducts. You find a delay in the conduction of this coil relative to this coil, and that delay in conduction causes a bucking between these two coils. And if the bucking between these two coils is found at a certain frequency, it'll be greatly stronger than the input coil. So you'll actually find that the input coil will send energy back to the input in some cases. Okay, I'm going to keep this video short. Guys, I really want to thank you for being a part of something better. Keep up the good work. I've had some really good reports from some people. It's fantastic to see our numbers are increasing every day. Momentum is the key. Again, we need to gain enough momentum to be able to make this work. If we don't have the momentum, we can't make it work. So it's all all about you guys. And I want to thank you very much for what you've done.